Under neon lights and clouds of sizzling oil, American comfort food has found a new life on the streets of Korea. What started as imitation became transformation. Burgers stretch higher, cheese melts louder, and donuts spin in hypnotic loops to K-pop beats. In Seoul's night markets and in small mountain towns, vendors are rewriting the rulebook of fast food, turning familiar dishes into edible performances. Each bite carries the echo of the West, but finishes with a Korean heartbeat. Spicy, balanced, and beautifully over the top. Today, we're diving into the stalls and back alley kitchens where American classics are reborn with Korean flair. From molten cheeseburgers to towering barbecues and sweet sugar-coated dreams. This isn't just about food. It's about creativity, adaptation, and the global language of taste. Welcome to American Fast Foods Made in Korea. Korean corn dogs, hasdog. Few street foods announce themselves quite like the Korean corn dog. It begins with the sound, that unmistakable hiss of batter meeting hot oil, followed by the visual payoff, a golden, glistening stick of perfection. But this isn't the plain fairground corn dog you might picture from an American carnival. In Korea, it's been reimagined into a full-blown sensory experience. Vendors roll them in diced potatoes, crushed ramen noodles, or panko crumbs for extra crunch. Some dust them with sugar, creating a shocking but addictive sweet-salty balance. Inside, you'll find surprises. Gooey mozzarella, stretchy cheddar, or a half-sausage, half-cheese combination that gives the perfect pull for photos and videos. Every stand seems to have its own secret. Spicy ketchup injections, sweet chili glaze, or even squid ink batter for dramatic color. What makes it special isn't just the taste, but the performance. Each corn dog is fried to order, skewered, and handed over piping hot. A moment designed to be captured, shared, and devoured. It's crunchy yet soft, sweet yet savory, simple yet clever. That perfect bite of cheese, sausage, and crisp shell tells the story of Korean street food itself. Familiar origins transformed through creativity. From Seoul's neon alleys to food trucks in New York and Paris, the Korean corn dog has become a worldwide sensation, a symbol of how street food can be playful, innovative, and irresistibly global. K-style burgers. When burgers crossed the Pacific, Korea didn't just copy the recipe, they rewrote it. The result is the K-style burger, a harmony of East and West where every bite carries a balance of bold flavor and creative flair. Instead of the classic mustard and pickles, you'll taste bulgogi glaze, a sweet and savory mix of soy sauce, garlic, and sesame oil, soaking into a freshly hand-pressed patty. A layer of kimchi replaces lettuce, adding a fiery crunch and a hit of fermented tang that wakes up the palate. Some shops blend gochujang mayo for a smoky, spicy punch, while others stack fried eggs, caramelized onions, and melted cheese for depth and indulgence. Even the buns are treated like a craft. Toasted to a golden sheen, brushed with honey butter, and sprinkled with sesame seeds for that final touch of sweetness. Each component feels intentional, engineered for contrast and satisfaction. Together they form a burger that's comforting yet entirely new. Sweet, spicy, umami-rich, and perfectly balanced. What started as an American icon has become something distinctly Korean, flavorful, aesthetic, and made with precision. find K-burgers everywhere, from high-end fusion restaurants to tiny night market stalls, each adding its own twist. Kimchi slaw, bulgogi beef patties, or even rice buns instead of bread. It's a perfect example of Korea's culinary philosophy. Take what the world offers, refine it, and make it unforgettable. These aren't just burgers, they're cultural conversation pieces, a symbol of how taste evolves when creativity meets tradition. Korean fried chicken. Few dishes have reshaped Korea's street food culture quite like fried chicken. What began as an American import evolved into an art form that the world now recognizes as uniquely Korean. The secret is in the double fry technique. The first fry cooks the meat through, sealing in the juices, while the second creates that signature, glass-like crisp. The result is skin so thin it almost shatters, staying crunchy even after being drenched in sauce. And those sauces are the real stars. The soy garlic glaze glistens like caramelized amber, delivering a sweet-savory balance that lingers. The spicy version, bright red with gochugaru chili flakes, hits with heat and depth rather than pain. Some vendors dust their chicken with snow cheese powder for a tangy twist, while others drizzle honey butter, teriyaki, or even creamy black sesame mayo. Every version tells a story of experimentation and local flair. Paired with an icy glass of beer, it becomes part of Korea's beloved chimek culture, short for chicken and makju, or beer. Friends gather late into the night under neon lights, the crackle of fried skin mingling with laughter and music. Each restaurant claims its own secret. Different oil ratios, batter thickness, or precise frying time, guarded like a family heirloom. Korean fried chicken isn't just food. It's pride, precision, and community served on a plate. It's proof that when tradition meets technique, even something familiar can be reborn into something extraordinary. Detroit-style pizza. Rectangular, deep, and unapologetically cheesy, Detroit-style pizza has found a new home on the streets of Seoul. Its unmistakable identity comes from its edges. Caramelized cheese fused into a crunchy golden border that snaps with every bite. Vendors bake the dough twice, once to let it rise into a soft, airy crumb, and again to seal those buttery, cheese-lined walls that give Detroit pizza its signature crunch. Traditional toppings like pepperoni remain, but in Korea, creativity reigns. You'll find bulgogi beef, sweet corn, spicy mayo drizzles, and even pickled jalapenos layered with mozzarella. The sauce, true to Detroit tradition, is spooned on top after baking, bright, tangy, and perfectly offsetting the richness below. Each square slice feels engineered, almost mathematical, balancing texture, salt, and heat with precision. What makes the Korean twist special is the attention to detail. The cheese blend might include local mozzarella for extra stretch, and the dough often ferments overnight for deeper flavor. Some shops even brush the crust with garlic butter or honey for contrast. The result is a pizza that eats like a story. American comfort meets Korean craft. It's the kind of food you can hear before you taste. The crack of the crust, the bubbling of cheese, the soft sigh of sauce meeting heat. Detroit's industrial soul merges with Seoul's modern flair, and together they create something bold yet comforting. This isn't imitation, it's innovation served hot, a perfect symbol of how global flavors evolve when passion and precision share the same pan. Texas-style barbecue. In the heart of Seoul, a new kind of spectacle has taken over the food scene. Texas-style barbecue on a scale that could make even Texans pause. Massive steel smokers line the back walls of bustling restaurants, their lids lifting to release clouds of hickory and oak-scented smoke. Briskets the size of footballs glisten under warm lights, their bark almost black, their interiors soft enough to bend under their own weight. The pitmasters move with quiet confidence, trimming fat by instinct, poking ribs for tenderness, slicing meat so thin it folds over a pair of chopsticks. It's a performance built on patience, timing, and intuition. But what makes these Korean BBQ joints special isn't just size, it's fusion. The flavors of the American South meet the balance of Korean side dishes. Pickled radish replaces coleslaw. Gochugaru spice salt takes the place of dry rub. And tangy house sauces nod to both barbecue tradition and kimchi acidity. Plates arrive heavy, aromatic, and irresistibly photogenic. Diners queue down the block, drawn by the smell of smoke and the promise of tenderness. These restaurants have turned what began as a Western curiosity into a national craze. Barbecue festivals, smoker imports, and workshops for local chefs are spreading across the country. In a nation known for quick bites and vibrant street eats, low and slow cooking has found a surprisingly loyal audience. It's more than food. It's craftsmanship translated through fire and time. The motto might be bigger, louder, smokier, but beneath the showmanship lies respect for technique. Korea didn't just adopt Texas barbecue. It studied it, mastered it, and then made it its own, proving once again that when tradition crosses borders, flavor only gets stronger. American-style doughnuts. In a bustling Seoul market, a small chrome machine performs one of the most mesmerizing shows in street food. Rings of batter drop into bubbling oil, flip themselves mid-air, and glide along a golden river until they emerge perfectly fried. This is the world of American-style doughnuts, reborn with Korean precision and spectacle. The machine never stops, dropping, spinning, glazing, repeating, each motion timed like choreography. People gather not just for the taste, but for the hypnotic rhythm, the smell of vanilla sugar floating through the air, and the quiet joy of watching perfection made by hand and machine. Once cooled, the donuts get a Korean twist. Vendors dip them into chocolate ganache, dust them with matcha powder, or coat them in cinnamon sugar that crunches softly when you bite. Some stalls drizzle condensed milk or inject strawberry jam for extra sweetness. Others push boundaries with flavors like black sesame cream, sweet potato glaze, or even honey butter syrup. Each ring balances nostalgia with innovation, soft inside, crisp outside, and always photo-ready under bright market lights. What began as a simple fried pastry from American diners has become a street performance in Seoul, blending comfort food with technology and flair. The donuts are light enough to eat 3 in a row, yet rich enough to feel like a small indulgence. Every batch pulls in a new crowd, cameras ready, smiles waiting. It's proof that the simplest things, flour, sugar, oil, and time, can still amaze when done with care. In Korea's hands, the humble donut becomes more than dessert. It's movement, aroma, and art, an edible rhythm that connects continents, showing how even the most ordinary food can become extraordinary when passion meets precision. Gilgeori Toast. At dawn in Seoul, when the streets are still quiet and the air smells faintly of roasted coffee, you'll find one of Korea's most beloved street breakfasts sizzling on metal griddles, Gilgeori Toast, or street toast. It's simple, humble, and deeply nostalgic. The vendor cracks an egg onto a buttered grill, spreads it thin, and sprinkles it with a handful of finely shredded cabbage. As it cooks, the egg and cabbage fuse into a soft golden omelet, fluffy on the inside, crisp at the edges. Then come the layers. Slices of ham or spam, a square of melting cheese, and sometimes a spoonful of sugar to balance the salt. All of it gets tucked between 2 slices of buttery, toasted bread, brushed with ketchup or sweet mayo, and wrapped in paper for a quick breakfast on the go. More than just a sandwich, Gilgeori Toast carries a piece of post-war history. After the Korean War, American military bases introduced ingredients like Spam and processed cheese, which were rare luxuries at the time. Koreans made them their own, stretching flavors, adding vegetables, and creating balance from scarcity. What began as necessity evolved into identity. Today, Gilgeori Toast is found everywhere, from tiny roadside carts to trendy cafes reimagining it with brioche, avocado, or spicy sauce. Yet its soul remains unchanged, comforting, affordable, and full of character. Each bite blends sweet, savory, and smoky, a perfect harmony of East and West in handheld form. It's more than breakfast. It's a symbol of resilience and creativity, proof that even the simplest street food can tell the story of a nation's past while feeding its future. In every layer of Gilgeori Toast, history still sizzles. From sizzling cheese bombs to smoky Texas barbecue and sweet sugar-dusted donuts, Korea has turned American fast food into something uniquely its own. Each dish tells a story of adaptation, imagination, and cultural exchange. What began as borrowed comfort food has evolved into an art form of contrast and precision. Sweet meeting spicy, indulgence meeting balance. On the streets of Seoul, flavor isn't just served, it's performed. Golden corn dogs stretching with cheese, burgers dripping with molten sauce, and toasts flipping at sunrise for the morning rush. Together, they show how global food doesn't erase identity, it expands it. Korea didn't just learn from America's fast food culture. It re-engineered it with heart, creativity, and a deep respect for craft. In every bite there's history, innovation, and the simple joy of sharing something familiar, yet entirely new.